Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. In today's episode we're going to install a beautiful custom-made frag rack into my Cade tank, and I'll also give you a little sneak peek into my favourite new coral in the Dream Reef tank. Alright, so thank you for joining me on another episode of Parker's Reefs, and this one I've been teasing about a little bit now for a couple of weeks, and that is I've got a custom frag rack arriving today for my beautiful Cade Pro Reef 2 1200 frag tank, and this one's been built by the team at NVS Aquariums, the people who made the polycarbonate lids for my Dream Reef tank. I reached out to them to see if they could build me a little custom frag rack for this tank, and whilst I did say when I set up this Dream frag tank that I wanted it to be as off the shelf as possible, this is the one little exception I've made into customization, and I say that because I didn't personally customize it. I contacted NVS Aquariums and said, I've got a Cade 1200 frag tank. I want to make a beautiful frag rack for it. This is the things I want. What can you do? Next thing you know, I get videos of things being cut on the laser, I guess it is, and some pictures being sent of what it'll look like. And then before you know it, there's boxes here ready for me to open and put into that tank. Now, some of the caveats I gave Nick at NVS Aquariums was, if you haven't already seen in that, that fish room, I guess we'd call it, I've got some of my previous motorsport achievements up there. I've got the 3 time slips that from my top fuel drag bike that were my personal best elapsed times and mile per hours of 6.75 seconds for the quarter mile and 215 mile an hour. So I've got them up on the wall. I've got a picture of me riding my Pro Stock motorcycle, which is one class below the top fuel motorcycles. And I've also got a picture of my first ever car on the track there, trying to run some quick times, and that thing was a bit of a beast for a, I guess an 18-year-old lad to be driving around in. So basically the theme of that room is a little bit motorsport-esque, and I wanted to kind of incorporate a little bit of motorsport-esque into this frag rack. It's quite a mouthful. So I had a bit of a think about it, and I thought about whenever you go to a motorsport track, you see those barriers, and they've got all of the sponsors and brands painted along the side of them, and it just gives you this, when you see that, you know you're at the track. And I've tried to think how we could incorporate that into the reef tank, and this tank being a Cade tank and kitted out with a heap of Ecotech gear, I thought, let's get the Cade logo and the Ecotech logo and just stagger that across the frag rack. So I sent those dimensions, I set the dimensions of the tank, and I set those requirements to Nick at NVS Aquariums. That was all I did. Next thing you know, I get a couple of concept pictures, a price, I paid the bill. Next thing you know, this thing is being cut and sent to me, and here we are. So with the box in front of me here, once it arrived, I did have a little bit of a heart in mouth moment when I saw a couple of little holes in the box there, where obviously the fine courier folk had maybe handled the box a little bit rough. But before you know it, the box is opened up, and I could see that everything was a-okay. Nick had done a fantastic job of packaging this up to make sure that everything traveled nicely. Glad wrap made sure there's not even a little scratch put on it. So happy days there. And you can see that it was even stacked in a way that allowed the box to remain a decent size to keep shipping at a reasonable cost. And I'll bring the camera in so you can have a little bit of a closer look at some of the fine details here, showing off the sort of style that I wanted to go for there with the motorsport themed barriers with the signage on them, and we've got the Ecotech Marine and Cade there. Both of them have got a little bit of a backdrop set back a few centimeters just to allow flow to still get through, and also to give those logos a little bit of depth. And I have to admit, it's worked probably better on the Cade ones than it has on the Ecotech Marine ones, but the result in person still looks really, really good. And basically it fits the bill exactly what I wanted. I wanted to kind of merge the motorsport background in with my new reefing hobby, and you can see the Ecotech Marine one there looks really quite good too. And this just nice little bit of work. You can see another angle there showing the logos, so that the logos give a little bit of color and a little bit of depth, but they do still allow that flow to go through, which was paramount to make sure that we don't get any dead spots under this huge frag rack. Let me show you how I went about installing it. I did have to just sort of tuck the MP40s The middle one I've tucked underneath the rack so I can get some good flow underneath there. You'll see the frag rack has got cutouts where the logos are. So that'll make sure there's no dead spots sitting underneath the rack. And then the two on the outside, I've just moved them a little bit just so that they sit in a spot that's suitable at this point in time. I may end up moving them further up and further outwards just so it doesn't get absolute hectic flow on a couple of the frags right near there. But all in all, I think it looks really good and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. So huge thank you to Nick at NVS Aquariums. If you are after a custom frag rack, be sure to reach out that guy. He does some incredible work. I really love the way the plates of these can be removable so I can take them out easily for cleaning. The rack itself is in two separate parts, so I can take one side out. I can shimmy all the corals over to one side, pull one rack out and give it a little citric acid bath or something to get all the coralline and any algae or anything off there. So it's been very well thought through and I'm really happy with the outcome. Now, I did also say in the intro that we were going to have a look at the latest coral I put in my Dream Reef tank, and rarely would I do a video on one coral that I got for it, but recently, well, before Melbourne's lockdown occurred, I was at DeerPark Aquarium shopping around and I was just perusing through the tanks there, and there was this hammer absolutely glowing. Now, the system that it was in had Kessels and they were set to full blue, so a lot of LPS tends to glow under the Kessels and full blue, but this thing was just glowing like next level. So had a bit of a chat with Dave, the owner there, and decided, yeah, okay, I'm going to dip into the savings again and pick up that hammer. Just before I show you it in my tank, I just wanted to get the good DSLR camera out to show you how pretty this thing was in store, because it's absolutely glowing. Now, I did mention before, this is under pure blue Kessels, and I don't know what it is, LPS just love the full blue Kessels, but if you know me and you know my channel, I love full spectrum Phillips coral cares, and here is that same coral in the tank at home now, in the Dream Reef tank. And this spectrum here that you're seeing on screen is in the middle of the day. This is around 18, maybe at best 20,000 Kelvin. I actually quite like a fairly white spectrum, and you can see this hammer is just as beautiful as it is in store. Now, this footage is, like I said, 20,000 Kelvin at best, maybe 18,000, straight off the camera, no filter whatsoever. This is how I like to look at my tank. I know some of you modern guys out there love to go the Smurf blues. I love, particularly with sticks, the sticks in particular really seem to shine under this color, and you can see a few pieces there really starting to hit their groove, and just the variety of colors I'm getting from the sticks are just awesome. But we've got some cool LPS too, like this Recordia in there is just looking great. The beautiful gold Deshi's doing its thing. The absolute showpiece gold torch from Nick's Aquarium just always gets people's attentions, whether it's this full white spectrum here or blues in the morning or evening. But all the pieces are looking really good. You can see my fish just kicking about there. My little hybrid angel in the background there, just doing what he does. Picks at SBS polyps all day long, the cheeky little bugger. But there is the hammer, and it is next to another hammer I picked up a couple of weeks ago, this modelled toxic one. I'm looking to move some of the other pieces away from this little island here and maybe make that a little LPS island, which I think would be pretty cool. I've got a couple of chalice and a pectinia and stuff on there now, but I might find another home for them, maybe along this back piece here. And you can see some beautiful fish there. The gem tang just looks an absolute treat. You can see the white tail coal down the bottom there. And of course, my little angel. There goes my flame hawk. Poor little, I guess he's without a girlfriend now. We've got to sort that out for him. But yeah, there's Prius just touching up the poor old Des Giardini sailfin tang. But all in all, the tank is looking great, and it's looking even better thanks to that hammer. Even under a very white spectrum for 2021, that hammer is just to die for, and it's a good size too. So huge shout out to DeerPark Aquarium for supplying such incredible LPS. I know he's got some other amazing stock in store. I'm hoping to get a work permit so I can get up there this weekend, and I'll get some footage for you to see all of the other stuff he's got in stock, because if you haven't heard, Melbourne has entered another lockdown, and that does put some really difficult times on our local fish shops. I was meant to be running with David my frag show this weekend. That's unfortunately had to be postponed, but sometimes that's just the way these things go. Anyway, guys, I will wrap this video up there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you got any questions for myself or the team at NVS Aquariums, feel free to pop it in the comments section down below. I personally reply to each and every one. I'll also put the link to NVS Aquariums Facebook page so you can reach out directly to them if need be. And of course, if you enjoy the channel and you get to subscribe, please consider doing so. That button down in the bottom corner there takes 2 seconds of your time. I promise it costs you no money whatsoever. All it does is actually help me out on this journey. So if you could, I'd really appreciate it. We're going for 25,000 subscribers this year. We're on good pace at the moment, but every subscriber counts, so I appreciate it, guys. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Bye.